5, 4, 3. Hi, everybody. Dugroz here with Dugroz Reports. Welcome to my Saturday morning live stream. Today is Saturday, March the 15th, 2025, and I'm reporting live from my house. We've already got a decent-sized crew on board, and right away I see, boom, Tom Graber coming in strong with a $5 super chat. Tom is also a Dugroz diehard. You can tell he's a channel member. That's that little squiggly symbol to the right of his name. Celebrate, celebrate. Thank you so much for your patronage, Tom. I appreciate it. We got a lot of people on board here, but this time we're just going to dive right in with the Dugroz data points. And the first one is courtesy of frequent milers, so hat tip to them. We frequently talk about buying IHG points. Well, hey, now is one of those opportunities. You can buy IHG points for as low as half a penny each. And I believe this sale runs through the end of the month. So not a whole lot of nuance there, just something definitely worth noting. And then also I see Xavier is here and says, yeah, $9.99 super chat. Kapow. Celebrate, celebrate. Thank you, Xavier. I really appreciate that. We've got some other names on board this morning. We have Texas Dog, Mike Newland, Chad Pennycuff, Gumbo, TM Cowling, and my brother from another mother, Cesar Joel, as well as Matt Clausen. Thank you for all being here. I really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and grab our next data point here. This comes from my Wyndham account. And if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, it says, shop today and earn 2,000 bonus points towards your next stay. So the Wyndham shopping portal is having some sort of, I don't know, customer bonus up or customer appreciation month. So your first purchase using Wyndham points during the month of March gets you an extra 2,000 points. I already made one on March 5th, but it was after I saw this or before I saw this. So I might make another one just to make sure. But theoretically, if you have the Wyndham shopping portal, you should be able to get an easy 2,000 points. And I value Wyndham points at about 1.25 cents each. So that would be about $25 worth based on my typical valuations. We also have Jason Smith. We have Juan Garcia. John R. coming in strong and consistent with a $2 super chat. Celebrate, celebrate. John says to smash the like button. So please do that, because when you hit the like button, more people will come over here to the live stream to watch it. And also there will be more people watching it later. Cesar reminds us of the exact same thing, to smash up that like button. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. All right. We've got more data points. We've got a bunch this morning, so I'm just going to keep roaring on through them here. Still, hat tip frequent miler. The end of an era. Southwest Airlines just devalued themselves terribly this week. They are now charging for bags. No more 2 free bags. There is some nuance there. Some people will get either 1 or 2. They're adding basic economy. Their flight credits expire in 6 to 12 months. Now, when this all came out, also hat tip to Matt Clausen, who did a video on it. My thought process was, this doesn't really affect me because I don't like open seating. I actually like to pick my seats. I'd be willing to pay for main cabin instead of basic economy. I generally don't check bags, so that doesn't really affect me. But the flight credits expiring in 6 to 12 months does impact me big time for a couple reasons. One is that at various points in my family, we've had either the platinum or the business platinum card from Amex, and I've used that airline incidental credit to buy cheap Southwest flights, then cancel them. So then I have a credit that kind of hangs out there in Southwest forever. Now, my understanding is, I think, and if any of you know differently, please correct me. If you got your credits before these changes go into effect, which I think is sometime in May, you will still have flight credits that never expire, but any new flight credits from that point on will expire. But regardless, that makes, that method of using your Amex Platinum credits a little less appealing. And also, one thing I like about Southwest is they can be a good backup option. So I will sometimes schedule a flight with them and then cancel it because I don't need it. Well, if you're canceling and getting flight credits, you don't want them to expire in a year. So all around, that just kind of Stinks. There's really no good news there. Other people that popped on board include Ian M, Mojo. I can't remember if I mentioned Juan Garcia or not, but glad to have you on board anyhow. And Ian M is here. He says, I was excited for the assigned seats in Southwest, but now that everything else about the company is trash, I am no longer interested. Yeah, I can't help but wonder if Southwest is thinking, well, people don't fly us because we're special. They just fly us because they need to get somewhere. It is weird. It seems like they're just becoming more like everyone else if they're really not going to have any special stuff. And that's true. Like if I need to fly to St. Louis, the only direct flight from Des Moines to St. Louis is on Southwest. So they'll get some of my business still, but I'm definitely not going to go out of my way to use them. All right, next data point. Marriott might be cracking down on additional guest reservations. And I believe what they mean by that is like if you've ever made a reservation and in the line for additional guests, you put a family member or a friend or someone else, and really you're using your points or you want to be on your credit card under your account to count as a night towards credit. And you put them as an additional guest, but you really have no intention whatsoever of staying. There was some sort of internal memo that went around, and it seems like maybe individual Marriott properties are being encouraged to basically force the person who made the reservation to show their face, or at least to report it to Marriott headquarters. That kind of stinks because I do like the ability to use my points to book for other people. I'm not saying I do it a lot or, book it under my account and have it count towards a night. I'm not into the Marriott ecosystem at all, so it doesn't personally affect me, but it could in the future. I've said before, I kind of want to take the path to getting the Ritz-Carlton card. That does make that a little less appealing. I know there was one time my sister was coming to town to take care of my parents. So my parents were going to pay for her motel room no matter what. But I funneled it through my Hilton account, put it on my Hilton credit card. And they let her stay without me showing up. But it was the only time they've enforced something like, well, the credit card that was used to book the reservation must be showed to us at the hotel, even if you have a different card for incidentals. So they basically forced my sister to present her credit card, and the whole thing was charged to that, which kind of stunk because, she had like a basic 1% cash back card, and I could have been earning, almost 30 Hilton points instead. Have you guys ever had a situation where you've tried to book for someone else and either they won't let you use your credit card or they force the person who made the reservation to show up? Just interesting to think about. Hey, 44 people on board. Keep hitting that thumbs up button. Let's see if we can get even more people in here at this time. Juan Garcia says, waiting on the tarmac to pull into gate on American from Mexico City. Interesting. And then J3 Carlos says, I am new here, but been watching for a long time. Hey, awesome. Thanks, J3 Carlos. Glad to see you on board. And if you're wondering why I sometimes look over here, because I have an external monitor, and that's what I'm using for any data points or comments that I need to look at. But the camera is over here on my laptop. I still haven't got a replacement external webcam yet. I plan to. I bought one, tried it. It didn't work the way I wanted it to, so I'm still having to put my laptop up on a little wooden stool to use as my camera here. Kevin Hawthorne is reporting in from Lakeland, Florida. Good to see you, Kevin. Chad says Southwest bonvoyed themselves. Indeed, they did. And we're just greeting each other right now. Chad says player 2 is on a stay right now on my Marriott account. Well, hopefully they don't give her any grief for you not being there or report you to the Marriott headquarters or anything like that. Pressing ahead to the next data point here. There was a frequent miler article saying you can use Hilton for business for better cancellation terms and no deposits. Now, this really only applies if you're doing paid cash stays. But remember when the Business Platinum added the quarterly credits for Hilton, it said you have to sign up for a Hilton for Business account, which is, you don't have to be a businessman or own a business. Basically, just go into your Hilton account, click a couple buttons, and said, yes, I want a Hilton for Business account. But apparently Hilton for Business also has booking rates. And one difference is the rate might be slightly better than the normal member rate, but also Instead of needing to cancel 3 days in advance, you can cancel just one full day in advance, one 24-hour period. So that's kind of appealing. Now, if you're booking with points with Hilton, you only have to cancel one business day in advance, or not even business day, one calendar day in advance. So it really only applies to paid stays, but thought that I would mention it. Texas Dog says, Courtyard at the Prague airport gave my player 2 issues 2 months ago. Oh boy. Would they not let her book the stay with your account, or just kind of hemmed and hawed and gave her a hard time? QC Man says, is Marriott going through financial issues right now? I have no idea, but it's good to see you on board, QC Man. Hey, and looky here. Chad Pennycuff says, $20. Let's help Dugroz get a new camera. Celebrate. Thank you, Chad. I really appreciate that. That'll go a long ways towards a new camera. If that's a $50 webcam, that's 40%. If it's a $100 webcam, that's 20%. I'm not fancy enough to probably spend more than about $100. It's more of an issue of just finding one that has the right, like, generic settings for depth. The one I bought off Amazon and tried out was like, it looked like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a fishbowl, or like a round eye setting, where it's like, even though it's only maybe 2 feet in front of me, you can see the entire room, which is not what I want. So there's some trial and error involved. Thankfully, Amazon generally has free returns. Carlos says Southwest issue is not so much the baggage fees as that they lost the identity of what made them Southwest. Yeah, I would agree with that. And then in addition to that, are these changes going to make their flight attendants more unhappy? One of the big advantages Southwest had is they have very cheerful flight attendants. So if they lose that identity, they're just another airline. Long Way Travel says, stopping by from Japan. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Michael. Appreciate it. Chad says, Elgato will do you right. Oh, my microphone's an Elgato. I didn't know they had webcams. Tucking that away. Hey, tell you what, I'll take a screenshot of that, and that'll help me remember here. There we go. Ian M dropped $1.99 for the full screen fund. Well, celebrate. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, it's like, remember when you used to get VHS tapes and you could buy the full screen or the widescreen version? I just want the full screen version. I want a square. I don't want a giant rectangle with lots of black at the top and bottom. QC Man 2000 also says, is Southwest cheap enough that getting rid of the free bag still makes them a sensible choice financially? At this point, if I was to fly to, I'll just make something up, let's say Denver, and I had to choose between Southwest or United, and the price was exactly the same, I would probably just go with United. If I was flying from Des Moines to Dallas, Southwest versus American, I'd probably go with Southwest. If I was flying Southwest versus Delta, I'd probably go with Delta. I would definitely go with Delta. Let's see. Wasn't Southwest Identity free check bags? I agree with you there. Mike says, the new information you're putting out is more important than any camera or piece of equipment you have. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. I still like to look halfway decent because there's a lot of like low-level credit card people who are attracted to the glitz and the glam. I know a lot of you guys, I could do my live stream from the back alley in Blakesburg, Iowa, sitting in front of a brick wall with a dumpster next to me, and you'd still watch. And I appreciate your loyalty, but I do try to bring new people on board who might be a little more particular than that. Yeah, but thank you. I do appreciate those kind words, Mike. Thank you so much. Let's see. Juan says, One Way Travels just landed this morning back home here in Miami. Oh, that's a response. Okay, I'm sorry. And Jay Carlos says, out of New York, for me, it's either JetBlue or Delta. Chad says Delta is way better than Southwest and Sky Club's rule. Exactly. Matt says, I'd probably change. I change my background and the internet loses its mind. I get it. We want to stare at the rafters in your unfinished basement with one working light. That's what we prefer. It's sort of like, have you ever been on like a message board or something like that? Like I'm a part of the Cyclone Fanatic message board, which is mostly about Iowa State athletics, but other various topics as well. And someone that's been a part of the board for like 5 years, 7 years, 10 years has an avatar and everybody recognizes their avatar. And then one day they change it. It's like, whoa, 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 you're not allowed to change your avatar. It's kind of like Filmo. If he ever changes his avatar away from Grand Moff Tarkin, I'm going to be like, I hardly even know you anymore. Ian disagrees with me. No, it's not. Matt with a background is much better. I was joking. I don't care if you have a background or you're playing rafters. Doesn't really matter to me. All right. Moving on to additional data points here. Bing. Okay. This is a targeted thing. Amex is offering 20,000 MR points for enrolling in Pay Over Time. And as I read through the comments, by the way, this is Hat Tip Doctor of Credit. It appears that some people are being offered different amounts. So Pay Over Time is basically a program for the charge cards, like the Platinum Gold, Business Platinum, Business Gold, Business Green, Green, etc. Not the credit cards, where you can almost turn it into a credit card by doing what's called Pay Over Time, which is like a payment plan. It used to be something you had to opt into, but I think a year or two ago, when you get the card, the default is that you are automatically opted in. So a long time suggestion has been when you get your card, opt out of Pay Over Time, because of course we're all paying our balances off in full every month on charge cards, since charge cards never offer 0% interest. And then some point in the future, we hope that Amex will throw some candy at us if we're willing to turn that feature back on. So when I followed the link, I realized that there's only 2 charge cards in my household right now. My wife has a Business Platinum, and I have the very lame Business Green, which was a downgrade from Business Gold. We both had our Pay Over Time feature turned on, so we obviously wouldn't be eligible for this, wouldn't be targeted. So I will do us all a solid here and show you where you go to turn that feature off so that you can get targeted in the future. So log into your Amex account. In the top left-hand corner where you've got a drop-down of cards, choose whichever card applies, and it has to be a charge card. Platinum, Gold, Green, Business Platinum, Business Gold, Business Green. By the way, I did this on a desktop. I don't know if it works on an app or not. At the top, click on Account Services, and then it'll bring up a menu. You'll want to choose Payment and Credit Options. And then after you choose Payment Credit Options, the third choice down will be Manage Pay Over Time. I put that little yellow box around it. So, and then once you get in there, it's really simple. It's just a toggle, like the left toggle is on, the right toggle is off. So turn that off, and then maybe hopefully in the future, you'll get targeted. Have any of you been targeted for getting points for turning on your Pay Over Time feature? Texas Dog thinks Matt's background is great. James says IHG points. I might do that. Good to see you on board, James. Carlos says, I'm new to Amex Gold. Pay Over Time was automatically turned on. I turned off about a month or more ago. Still waiting for my offer. Yeah, it's targeted, so not everybody gets it. Some people get emails. You can also go to Doctor of Credit and check that link. QC Man says, that reminds me to cancel my enrollment Pay Over Time. Got the offer last year. Sweet. Cesar says, I've gotten several 20 to 30K offers to turn on Pay Over Time. 20 to 30. Oh, wow. I thought 20 was good. 30 is even better. Excuse me, folks. I have to blow my nose here. A little hork. Cesar also says, after a month, I turned it off again. TM Cowling says, the BizGold does indeed offer 0% APR for 6 months using the Pay Over Time feature. Well, that's new to me. Thank you, TM Cowling. I misspoke. Cesar says, it's usually once a year. Texas Dog said, I did the same, but Amex only gave me the offer once. Hey, speak of the devil. Filmo's here. Filmo says, Filmo and Tarkin go together like Wells Fargo and Golden Ponies. That's exactly right, Filmo. And hey, look, not only is he a big-time Dugroz diehard, he dropped a $2 super chat. Celebrate, celebrate. Thanks, Filmo. I appreciate your ongoing patronage. John R. says, I've never gotten the offer and it's turned off on my cards. I guess I'm not good enough. Sorry, John. I've never got it either. If it makes you feel better, because I know on prior cards that I don't have anymore, I have turned it off, but I went ahead and turned it off for everything just to make sure. All right, the next Dugroz data point is something of a personal nature here. So you'll remember, I think in early January, my wife signed up for an Aeroplan card. I also have one because we want to be able to pay ourselves back out the wazoo on our vacation to Europe this coming summer. And it has a 2-tiered sign-up offer, or 2 tranches. If you want to sound all cool and stuff, you can say that. And the first big tranche is 75,000 points after spending, I don't remember, I think it's $5,000, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, she spent whatever it took. So 76,000 points are indeed pending now. So that'll help bring that up to that 200,000 when you add these two numbers together, which is the maximum number of points you can pay yourself back on during any given calendar year. And just to prove that it actually happened here, right here on this particular transaction, new card member bonus, 75,000 points pending. I may have said $75,000 earlier. Wouldn't it be nice to get a $75,000 sign-up bonus? 75,000 point sign-up bonus. And what's kind of funny is it was an $11 purchase. I think she went to Michael's, that store that sells arts and crafts and beads and make your own jewelry kits and picture frames and that kind of stuff. Bought something for $11. And that triggered it. Matt says, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, Amex doesn't like me. Oh, that is Al Franken as Stuart Smalley. Is that right? Daily Affirmations, a very old SNL skit. And then he also says church lady. I'm not sure if you're conflating two different NFL characters or SNL characters, or if you're making a secondary reference. Oh, yep, it is Stuart Smalley. Every day you look in the mirror and you say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. Except Amex doesn't like us. Hey, look, Quality Control Man gifted 1 Dugroz Report membership. That's just as good as a $3 super chat. Celebrate, celebrate. Thank you, QC Man. I appreciate it. If you're the benefactor and you're on board, please speak up. Cesar says, for pay over time offer, sometimes you'll get an email to activate the offer. Sometimes it shows up in the web page. And sometimes in the app, you scroll down to the transaction and the offer can show. Oh, like if you made a largest transaction, it'll show right there. Basically, turn this on, set this up for pay over time, and get some bonus points. That's cool. Matt says, I messed up. I need more caffeine. That's all right. Let's keep it to going here. Ah, yes. So my new feature that I will do whenever it happens to come up, called We Don't Take Amex. So the perpetrator this week is a place kind of small. It's up here, called the Iowa Clinic. The Iowa Clinic is just a network of hospitals, clinics, and physicians. And I had to pay a medical bill, which was $75. And look down here, we have Visa, we have MasterCard, we have Discover, but what do we not have? That's right, everyone. If there was a studio audience, we would all say it together. We don't take Amex. Ha! So I always find it interesting, a place that doesn't take Amex. Something else of a personal nature here. So I've got a members only video coming out this week called Perfect Wallet versus Subs. And I'm not going to tell you what it's about. You can probably figure it out. But if you are a Dugroz Diehard, which is a channel member, you can look forward to that. Not a channel member, I have one and only one membership level. It's called the Dugroz Diehard, just like QC Man gifted to someone a couple minutes ago. And if you have that, you get a little funny symbol next to your name, so we all know that you're a diehard supporter of mine. And I have somewhere around 38, 39, 40 members only videos that you can watch, including soon to be this one. And if you join as a diehard while the live stream is going and you're on here, a little banner will pop up telling everyone, just find the join button at the bottom of any of my videos or live streams. As an example, Xavier has let us know that he's been a diehard for 7 months. Thank you for your loyalty, Xavier. And he says, join. Thank you. I hope you think it's worthwhile. Speaking of videos that I have made, technical difficulties, please hold. I accidentally closed the tab in which I was sharing and opened a new one. So we'll get her going here. Ding. There we go. Okay. So this thumbnail was from a video that I made earlier this week called Retain the US Bank Altitude Reserve Card. And it was my retention call to try to get some points going. I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler alert. They did award me 10,000 altitude points for doing nothing, just being a loyal customer. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I've had a lot of people say things like, well, doggone it, I have been a loyal customer for a while. I've run, $10, $20, $30,000 or more of spending through my card. And all I got was a 5,000 point retention offer, or all I got was a 1,000 point retention offer. That's what Stan the Credit Frog told me. Or I didn't get a retention offer at all. I'm going to share a little bit of why I think US Bank loves me so much. Part of the reason is because I've been a part of their bank basically my whole life. When I was a little kid, my parents got me a kid savings account at a local bank in Ottumwa, Iowa called Union Bank and Trust Company. And then First Star bought that bank, and then US Bank merged with First Star. So in their records, it probably looks like I've been a customer for more than 35 years. But also because I am a designated signatory on my parents' account. And by the way, just showing that when my statement closed a couple of days ago, it did in fact have the 10,000 free points on there. Didn't have to do anything. Here's the screen I'm looking for. So I never normally do this. A lot of banks on the app will have like a spending report to see how much you've spent. Well, I don't really have a reason to use that most of the time, but just out of sheer curiosity, I went and clicked on it, and it said something like, this might have been before February ended, you spent $2,894 in February. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't spend any money near that. What I realized is they're including the spending that comes out of my parents' account on this. Just to use one more example, it says during the month of February, I spent $2,000 on Treasury Direct. Treasury Direct is the part of the federal government where you can buy savings bonds, T-bills, that kind of stuff. So my parents are in assisted living and are gradually running out of money, but just to keep the money they do have in a safe place and get a little bit of interest, I will sometimes help them get conservative investments like a T-bill, or I think this was an I-bond actually. So it's counting the $2,000 that I used of their money to buy something at Treasury Direct as part of my spending. So what I think is going on is when the US Bank algorithms look at me, they think I'm a much bigger high roller than I actually am, because it has all of my spending plus all of my parents' spending, which they use for things like paying off credit cards, their assisted living, which would include their assisted living rent and that kind of stuff. Sometimes we have to write checks to pay things off. Old people love checks, and sometimes there's old accounts that don't have any sort of internet access, or the password was lost decades ago. So yeah, it thinks that what my parents are spending, I'm just their trustee facilitating the spending, is actually my spending, which is interesting, I guess, at least a little bit interesting. Jumped the gun here. That's the next thing I was going to say. Todd Trimble is enjoying. Glad you're here, Todd. QCMS says optimizing credit card point category for everyday spend versus just spending on new subs. You're onto something. Chad says 10K for nothing, mind blown. Did you get 10K, Chad? And he responds, I have about another month for the fee to post, and then I'll call. Todd says, enjoying Dugroz live on a points booking in Aruba. It's a sunny 84 degrees. Awesome. How you doing down there, Todd? Are the Beach Boys standing off to the side singing, Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take ya? I can't hear the word Aruba and not think of that. Nicholas Aaliyah says, does co-branded cards count as 524 for Chase by any chance? Yes, they do, if it's a personal card. Good question. Business cards may or may not, depending on the issuer. Like Capital One reports to personal credit, but Amex doesn't, as an example. All right, so showing you the thing I almost showed by accident here. This is another US Bank Altitude Reserve thing that was just kind of interesting here. Not that interesting, but slightly interesting. So my statement closed on March 10th, and coming into that particular statement period, I hadn't used Maltitude Reserve very much that particular cycle. So my entire balance was $26.34. I had heard that there's like a small balance waiver where if it's less than 99 cents, they'll pay it for you. So I think I tried it once before, like 5 years ago, but I just felt like trying it again. So of my $26.34 balance on the day before the statement closed, I paid $26, leaving the 34 cents. And you'll notice when the statement closed at midnight that night, 34 cents posted. And sure enough, if you go to the transaction, it says right here, small balance charge off. So US Bank not only gave me 10,000 points, they gave me 34 cents for free. They are very nice. Now, I know some people make a really big deal out of this, and I guess it's worth something. That could be worth almost $12 a year, or actually, I think it's only worth $11 a year because I think in the month that your fee posts, it won't credit it no matter what, even if it's a no annual fee card, because US Bank has this weird way of doing it where if it's a no annual fee card, it'll say like, I don't remember. Does it say annual fee and then annual fee waived, or it'll charge you a $0 annual fee or something like that? In that month, it doesn't work, but in the other 11 months, it does. I'm not going to make a habit of checking all of my accounts and paying them down to 99 cents or less the day before. But if you wanted to, you could. It's not worth $11 for me to go out of my way to do that, but something that I definitely thought was at least interesting. Vincent says, you need to have some credit card creator karaoke videos. I've thought before I should put more time into credit card humor. But the couple videos I've done with credit card humor, like the people that like it really like it, but it doesn't seem to have that broad of appeal. I think my style of humor is apparently something of an acquired taste, I guess you could say. Torrance Sorrell. Haven't seen you in a while, Torrance. Glad to have you on board. I got a 10K on the retention offer last year due to the weird situation where they didn't give some folks the 3X mobile wallet. This year I got 6K. I guess beggars can't be choosers. That's true. 6K is kind of a weird amount. It's like, why wouldn't they just do increments of 5,000? But whatever, 6,000 is better than nothing. It's better than 5,000. Yeah, and last year where they had the weird situation where some people didn't get mobile wallet, they actually gave me 15,000 total points, but the way they described it verbally is 10,000 is your normal customer satisfaction offer, and then we'll give you 5,000 extra because of the screw up thing. Dad on a Mission says, I'm in Albuquerque, complete opposite of Aruba. Cold here. Oh, cool. Are you from Aruba? Excuse me. Yeah, you wish. Are you from Albuquerque, Dad, or are you visiting? Either way, cool. Yep. Cesar reminds us to hit the like button to support. 77 people on board. I don't know how many people clicked like because I can't see that on StreamYard, but maybe somebody could comment on how many likes there are so far so I can guilt trip everyone appropriately. And that concludes the Dugroz Data Points segment of today's show. I see no reason to delay any longer. Let's go ahead and dive into the theme of the day. And the theme of the day today is the US Bank Smartly credit card. I need to put this in slideshow mode. There we go. The US Bank Smartly card, smartly or dumbly, wild speculation. So I think we have all heard about what's going down with the US Bank Smartly card. But for those of you who don't know, I will review it real quick. Both Cesar and Quality Control Man point out there's only 28 likes. How can we have 75 people on board, but only 28 people have clicked the like button? Come on. It takes like 3 seconds. If you're on your phone, just do this. If you're on a computer, just do this. Click. There we go. All right. Diving in here. Smartly or dumbly. As you can see there, I took a photo of myself holding a extra large Smartly card. I know it doesn't look realistic, but my branch, they give you a giant novelty card. Okay, maybe not. All right, so let's review what has happened thus far with the Smartly. Got to blow my nose first. So November of last year, 2024, that's when the card launched. And I think probably most of us know the features of the card, but we'll review just in case. Here's the cash back structure. You get different amounts of cash back depending on your total US bank relationship. And total relationship is like checking, savings, self-directed brokerage account, wealth management accounts, CDs, any basically money you have on deposit or on file with them. If you have less than $5,000 in your total relationship, you get 2%. Same as a whole bunch of other cards. 2% cash back everywhere cards, not really special. If you have between $5,000 and $49,000, you get 2.5%. Yes, I know it would actually be $49,999.99, but I didn't want to type all that out. If you have $50,000 to $99,000 total relationship, you get 3% cash back. And if your total relationship is $100,000 or more, you get 4% cash back on all purchases with the Smartly card. I know some people in our community have already gotten the Smartly and already arranged for their $100,000 relationship. I know that frequent commenter Spaithco has, although I believe he has since backed off and closed that relationship because he was dissatisfied with their brokerage account. I know Stan the Credit Frog has. Chad Pennycuff chimes in here. I've only done about 5 or 6 small purchases on my Forex Smartly, and I got that email about biz charges. I've been working on Blue Business Plus authorized user 15K offer that comes out to 5.25 MR points, which is better. So I understand that. So Chad Pennycuff's another one who has structured his relationship with U.S. banks so that he is in this highest tier now. So Chad kind of tipped us off to the next thing I was going to say. The next kind of major thing that came out was in late February, there were some nasty letters sent out to a bunch of different card holders. I'm not sure if these people were targeted or if it went out to everyone. We're not really sure. But here's what the letter said. And this is Hat Tip Frequent Miler. You see I put their logo in the bottom left corner. I copied it from their website. We hope you're enjoying your new U.S. Bank Smartly Visa Signature Consumer Credit Card. I like how they go out of their way to put the word consumer. We would like to remind you that as described in the card member agreement, transactions with this card are intended to be only for personal, family, or household purposes. It is important to know that federal and state consumer protection laws may not apply if you use the card for business charges. In addition, using this card for business purposes may result in your account being suspended or permanently closed. So the speculation is that lots of people were doing things like either manufactured spending on this card, or they were a small business owner who was paying property taxes for their business on this card. And if you own a restaurant or a warehouse or something like that, I mean, that could easily be, $20,000 to $30,000 to $50,000 in property taxes. And they were like, we don't want you doing that. If you have to pay estimated federal income tax, that could be another $10,000 to $100,000. So a lot of those high rollers were running their business property taxes through it. It's not so much a business, although it might be a business, people buying gold bullion from Costco, that kind of stuff. So that was the rumor. Regardless of whether or not it was happening, the letter went out. Todd says, my wife sings that Beach Boys song all the time on this trip. I'll reach my altitude reserve when annual fee comes due. I'll reach out, it says. I've been earning points without a single redemption for 3 years. Well, hey, time to do some real-time rewards, sounds like. Dad says, no, I'm traveling back to Arizona. I spent the past week in West Texas and the Panhandle of Oklahoma, about to check out of a Hyatt Place here in Albuquerque. Awesome. I don't think I've been to New Mexico ever in my adult life. When I was a kid, my family drove through there and saw, is it the Petrified Forest or the Painted Desert or something like that? We might have stopped at Carlsbad Caverns and they were closed because there was some bat disease going around. QC Man says only 5K for 2.5% is really good. Interestingly, I did a whole video on that. If you want to check it out, just search for something like Smartly at 2.5% worth it. My conclusion was that it's pretty good, but I would prefer to have something that earns points. Obviously, what's best for me may not be best for everyone. Continuing with the presentation here. So then the next thing that happened was during the first week of March, we found out that the Smartly card was closed to product changes. I'm not necessarily claiming credit for being the first one to find out. I don't know if I was or wasn't, because there were several people that shared data points about the same time. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to play a video through Google Sheets. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it or not. So if you can hear the audio, let me know. I have to click play and then skip ahead to 140. Second one, I think I understand. Just out of curiosity with the third one, is one of the options to switch to that new card? I think it's called Smartly or something like that.
So we have suspended that upgrade option to the Smartly card, so it isn't one of the offers I have, not one of the products available to.
Again, okay, so I'm not sure if you heard the representative. It wasn't super clear, but she said, I wasn't really going to product change my altitude reserve, but just because I was curious, I asked if I could product change to a Smartly, and she said, unfortunately, the Smartly card is no longer one of the options available for us to upgrade to. So I know there were people that product changed to a Smartly card, but by the time I made this call, and I think I made this call somewhere around March 2nd. So by that time, it was not an option anymore. QC Man says the audio was good. Thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate it. Nope, don't play it again. Another just kind of way of this showing up here is I don't personally use Reddit. I don't even have a login, but I will lurk on Reddit frequently. And someone said, Dugroz recently posted a video on YouTube of his retention call offer. During the call, he inquired, and the rep responded, the product changes Smartly have been suspended. So somebody quoted me, and I appreciate that. I'm not sure who Ludium is. If you're one of my fans, thank you for doing that. I did put link just because it's not that big of a deal, but it would be nice if you would put a link into Reddit going directly to my video. So all those people who don't know who Dugroz Reports is could go in and watch it. Andrew says Dugroz wearing the same shirt in the retention call as the stream today. For real? Let me go back here. Well, yep, I was wearing the exact same shirt. Good call. I know Uncle Luke, when I was in New Orleans, said, Doug, do you only own like 4 shirts total? No, I own a lot more shirts. It's just I like to wear collared shirts when I'm doing YouTube videos or like taking video of myself on vacation. And of those like short sleeved collared shirts, yeah, I only own like 5 of them. I'll be honest. Ian says buying hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gold. That's right. You said you were buying lots of gold bars. I need to touch base with you again about that. 4% is pretty good. Sure you don't use Reddit, Ludium. Yeah, that's my secret lurker name. With the altitude reserve? Yuri says, where is your Hawaiian shirt? This is the closest shirt I have to Hawaiian shirts. The others are just, I guess, what I call traditional middle-aged dad button-up shirts. All right, move along. Move along. These aren't the droids you're looking for. All right, and then this is hat tip to Danny the Deal Guru. And for the time frame, I just put recently because so many things came in so fast. I'm not really sure what order they were in. There was a user who put a comment under Danny the Deal Guru's article about the Smartly card named JJ. I'm sorry it's so small, hard to see, but he shared a link to a banker's referral. And basically, multiple people reported that you can no longer get the Smartly card in branch, and that when they asked a U.S. bank personal banker about it, they were told, yeah, sorry, those got closed to in-branch applications on the first Monday of March, which I think was March 3rd. They all got an email saying that. And then some, not all of those same personal bankers have said they're going to be closing it to everyone in the very near future. So this person, JJ, shared a link that said, if I'm kind of reading between the lines correctly, if you go into a branch and you talk about a credit card, but you don't sign up for one on the spot, the personal banker can email you a link that will go to like a special banker's referral page, so that if you a week or two later sign up for a credit card, they still get credit for meeting their sales goals or whatever. You look up here at the URL, it says usbank.com something banker code equals and then a bunch of characters. So I'm guessing this is one specific personal banker's link. And what do you see on here? You see the Shopper, the Cash Plus, the Go, the Connect, and the Platinum. This is all the personal cards. You could scroll down to business cards, but the Smartly card was nowhere on there, at least as of yesterday when I checked this link. So I think we have enough data to say conclusively the Smartly card is now closed to in-branch applications. TM Cowling says, I think the AU offers for the Blue Business Plus come out to 5.75. Okay. Happy Tom is here. How you doing, Tom? Would be happy to hear about liquidating gold. And Ron Burns on board, another big-time diehard. Thanks for being a diehard. I added the Hilton card to my Apple Pay and used it to tap to pay. The entire value of $50 removed from the card. Seems like that works better than swiping the gift card. Hey, so you were able to liquidate a Hilton gift card that way. That's awesome. What was I going to say? Yeah, thank you for noting that. Can you tell us what property it was that you did that at? If not the exact property, at least what kind? Was it a Hampton Inn? Was it a Hilton Garden Inn, etc.? Ian will put his contact info on the latest members only video, so I will be able to see that. Thank you, Ian. And then just saying hi to each other. All right, moving along here. Move along. Even more recently, being told it will close to new applications. So hat tip to Doctor of Credit here. File this under rumors, but a Reddit user was told by a branch rep that they received an email saying they could no longer apply for it in branch, and was surprised that it was still available online. And another Reddit user spoke to underwriting. Now, how do you get through to underwriting and ask this question? I'm a little skeptical, but there's been a lot of rumors. And we're told this card would be discontinued in about a month. Yeah, so there's another data point saying the whole thing is going to be discontinued in roughly a month. And then we have all sorts of data points coming from all over the place that the end is nigh. Again, hat tip today, the deal guru for this update. Another report hints at upcoming changes, which sound more plausible to completely discontinuing it just 4 months after the launch. Quote, the card will no longer be able to be applied for soon, but it will only be down for about 3 to 4 weeks as they are making changes to the card. So everyone rest assured that the card will be able to be applied for again soon, and anyone that currently has the Smartly card will still be able to use it as normal. So rumors are flying fast and furious, and I want to give the disclaimer, these are only rumors. Handle it however you think it needs to be handled. But historically, it seems like these kind of rumors have been pretty solid. I mean, when there were rumors about the Altitude Reserve being closed to new applications, those rumors ended up being exactly right. So Yuri G says it was clear the 4% would not last long. Ian says, I put my WhatsApp on the members only video emotion. Let me know when you grab it. I will do that shortly after this video ends, because I know you don't want your contact info just floating out there indefinitely. And Ron Burns says a Hilton Garden Inn is where he was able to do the gift card thing. Also had them charge my Surpass for $50, and the remainder went to the Aspire. That's how you do it. I'm hoping to do that a whole bunch this summer. QC Man says they'll probably change it to where you'll get 4% if the 100,000K is in the Smartly checking, or it might just be nerfed to a 2% card. Well, remember the title of this video is Wild Speculation. We're going to go to that step right about now. It's time for Wild Speculation. So thanks for the lead in, QC Man. These two girls are gossiping, and I just thought it totally looked like they're probably gossiping about what US Bank is going to do with their Smartly card. Wouldn't you agree? Teenage girls love that kind of gossip. So I'm going to throw out some wild speculation on my part. These are not research. This is based on nothing in particular. Again, this is just rampant speculation straight out of the head of yours truly. Possibility number one, the Smartly card is shut down. Everyone has changed to another card and it no longer exists, not even grandfathered. So just for reference, I don't think this possibility is very likely, but it could happen. There've been credit cards in the past where not only was there no grandfathering, they just don't even exist anymore. And everybody was changed to something else. One example, and this is a little different because it was co-branded, would be when Capital One issued the Walmart card. Everyone is getting product changed to something else. I think it's a Quicksilver, but don't quote me on that. And you can't even keep it, if you had it when Capital One issued it. So I don't think that's going to happen because US Bank is the king of zombie cards, according to Matt Clausen. So I doubt it, but it is hypothetically possible. I think people that are grandfathered would have to be allowed to keep their card for at least a year based on some federal law that I'm not real familiar with, but don't quote me on that. Seems unlikely. Yes, I already said that. Possibility number two is the Smartly card is permanently closed to new applicants, but grandfathered for existing cardholders with or without tweaks. So they'll say, just like they're doing right now with the Altitude Reserve, hey, if you got the card while it's still open, we'll let you keep it. And they might let you keep, but no one new is going to have it. And they might let you keep it with the same structure, 4% and everything. Or they might say, there's going to be some tweaks, like you're going to cap out at 3% instead of 4% or something like that. I mean, who knows? Let's see. Yuri G says, and this is from US Bank. Oh, I missed a comment. Radisson, the old Radisson card is an example, and this is from US Bank. Who did Radisson merge into? Are they part of Choice Hotels now? That sounds right, but don't quote me on that. QC Man says US Bank loves to grandfather, though. Yuri says, my friend applied for Smartly and got it with a $500 credit limit. Well, that's almost a joke. I don't know if that's some way of trying to prevent people from manufactured spending or making gigantic purchases, but stink. Chris Sevi says, this could be marketing for a rumored Smartly Reserve that was leaked a few weeks ago. I think I heard a rumor, something like that, but I don't know any details. Good to see you on board, by the way, Chris. Something like they're going to combine the best of the Altitude Reserve with Smartly or make it into a altitude card of some kind. Who knows? Maybe it'll be better in the long run. If you have more details on that particular rumor of what a Smartly Reserve would offer, by all means, put it here in the comment section. Anna says, yeah, I've heard they've been giving super low credit lines for the Smartly. Awesome. Hey, good to have you on board, Anna. I see that you're a Dugroz diehard. Thank you for your patronage. I appreciate that. And I don't remember if we've spoken on a live stream before. I'm super happy to have you on board. Let's continue with my rampant speculation here. Possibility number three, the card is reopened to applications, but there's a cap on the 4% of rewards. By cap, I just mean, well, I'll show you a few examples here. Maybe you can earn 4% on the first $100,000 of spending per year, which would functionally limit you to a maximum of $4,000 of cash back. Maybe it would be something like 4% on the first $10,000 per calendar quarter, which would limit you to a lot less. Let's see, 10,000 per quarter would be 40,000 in a year. 1% of that would be 400. Take that times 4. You got $1,600. So you would max out at $1,600 per calendar year. Probably less functionally because you would have to coordinate to make sure you spread it out evenly across all quarters to max it out. Honestly, I could see that last bullet point being a thing because we know with the Altitude, it's either the Go or the Connect. I think it's the Connect is now capped at a maximum of $2,000 in gas purchases per calendar quarter. So they kind of nerfed that one a little using quarterly caps. Ian, you're mentioning posting a link and it's not there, or to your personal info. It's possible it went into my like spam comments to approve type thing. So I'll check that out as soon as I'm able to. Sometimes if you post like personal info or link to a website or something like that, or Discord, it will make me moderate the comments. Yuri G said, my friend called US Bank and tried to increase their credit line and also shift credit line from another card, was denied all of this. Come on, US Bank, get with the times. Even Chase lets you rearrange your credit. Even Capital One let me rearrange my credit when I was moving from what was once my Venture X card to my Venture One card. Big and eyes. By the way, I'm just noticing, and not that it's a problem, I love y'all. Nobody's dropped a super chat in a little while, so 99-cent super sticker, $2 super chat, I'll take any of it. It all helps support the channel. 80% of what I take in goes directly to being reinvested in Dugroz reports. 20% supports my family budget. Please, sir, may I have another? Also, click the like button if you've not done so yet. We've kind of been in the 70s. We're kind of stuck at 70 viewers here, so let's see if we can bump that up a little. Thank you. Moving on. Possibility number 4 is the card is reopened to applications but requires more than $100,000 on file to get the 4%. For example, they could say you have to have $250,000 in banking relationship, or you have to have $500,000 in banking relationship, or more, maybe $1 million. My thought process there is, they're treating the Smartly card as a loss leader because they want to get in new clients, especially new clients who will keep a lot of money on deposit or on file through a brokerage type account. And maybe they would say, the average loss we take on a Smartly card is, I'm just making up numbers here, $5,000 a year. And at $100,000 banking relationship, we don't make that back. But at $500,000, we do. So let's say you have to have $500,000 total relationship to get the 4%. That's possible. I think that one is actually kind of sort of likely. Can't say for sure, though. Possibility number 5 is self-directed brokerage accounts no longer count towards your total balance. And by that, I mean you would have to be pushed towards either wealth management or savings account. And in case you're not sure what the difference is, a self-directed brokerage account is where it's all online. You pick your own investments. You manage all your own investments. They make good money off those from people who do lots of trading where you have to pay a per trade fee. I have heard that US Bank is one of the places that charges you a per trade fee. If you're someone who's just buying the S&P 500 or 2 or 3 mutual funds and just letting your money sit there, or exchange traded funds, they don't make a whole lot of money. So I have a feeling what a lot of people have done and maybe still are doing is to get the 100,000, they'll roll over an old IRA or an old 403B or an old 401k just to get the 100,000 minimum, put it all in an index fund and just let it sit there. So US Bank is not getting any trading fees. They're just making 11 basis points a year off that. And that's not enough to make it worthwhile to them. A wealth management account would be like you have an assigned financial advisor. Almost all large banks have either a person on site who does it or rotates between 5 or 6 different branches. Actually, one of my bosses, I worked at Wells Fargo a long time ago, back in 2007, 2008, as a personal banker. That was before the dark times, before they got in trouble for pushing accounts and stuff. Maybe it was just barely kind of starting at that point. But my boss was promoted from branch manager to a private bank wealth management type advisor. So he rotated between 3 or 4 different branches, would come in, meet with the high net worth individuals. And although I don't know for sure, I'm guessing those folks pay a 1% or 2% management fee every year. So they bring in a lot more money. Likewise with savings account, if your money's parked in a savings account, they can loan that money out and make more money. So they could just make that one simple change and say, we want your money to really be money that we can earn off of and use more than just 11 basis points a year. So I think that one is actually fairly possible. I need to catch up on my comments here. Oh, hey, look. Tom, Happy Tom dropped $16.25. Waiting on my new credit card. Want to guess which one? $16.25 is a very specific amount. So I'm guessing that has to do with which credit card. Let me guess and think it over here. And in the meantime, celebrate. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. The member formerly known as Tom Happyuk is now Happy Tom, which is a great name. It really fits. I can't think of anything that $16.25 applies to. So maybe it's just something else. Let me see if somebody else made a guess. Ian says, I feel like 1625 is a clue. Yeah, I'll guess an ink card. Maybe you're just barely under 524 and you're gonna have 16 cards in the last 25 months or something like that. So I'll say it's an ink cash. How about that? And then, another important breaking news, folks. TM Cowling 23 just became a channel member. Our latest Dugroz diehard. Thank you, TM Cowling. Celebrate. I appreciate your support and patronage. Enjoy your 40 different members only videos. All right, catching up on comments here. We already talked about that. QC Man says, I think option 3 sounds plausible, like that business US Bank Altitude Reserve card that caps mobile wallet spend. Yeah, the putting a cap on it every quarter. I think that's plausible too. Oh, what is that card? It gets you like 2.5% cash back on mobile wallet, or maybe it's 3%. I think it's called the Business Power Card or something like that, which is a good card for the first year, but after that, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Andrew says, all banks are driven by share of wallet. They do everything they can to get more space in checking, savings, investments, retirement, mortgage, etc. Yeah, maybe they'd let you count a mortgage towards it. Ian says, I know with Bank of America, you only need to have 100,000 in the account a few days a year to get the platinum honors. Is it the same for US Bank for Smartly, or does it have to be in there all year? That's a good question, and I have no idea, Ian. I thought I remember seeing it has to be your average daily balance for like the last rolling 60 days, because I know some people said like I couldn't actually start earning the first 60 days, my 4%, but don't quote me on that. QC Man is guessing that Happy Tom got a business gold or platinum. Is there some card that has a $625 annual fee? Maybe the business gold? No. I don't know. Chad says, it goes by end of quarter status. I get an email confirming my foreign once a quarter. Oh, there you go. So you have to have it for a rolling 90 days, or maybe not rolling, but on the last day of the quarter. It would be pretty inconvenient to take your money out on the second or third day of every quarter and put it back in on the next to last day of every quarter. We got a lot of guesses about what card's going to be. We have an ink. We have Wells Fargo. David Williams says Aeroplan. 1.625. My favorite figure. Yes, that's the functional earnings when you transfer with a bonus from Chase to Aeroplan. Use it for pay yourself back. So that's got to be it. Way to go. Way to pick up on the clues there, David. That's awesome. I'm still wondering what the story is behind your avatar. Yep, move the decimal. Yuri G says, yep, it is Aeroplan. Bingo. That was a fun game. We should do that more often. Give a really weird super chat amount and then guess what it's referencing. Yuri G says, I'm also thinking about getting Aeroplan, but with the recent revaluations, I'm not convinced. If you're only using Aeroplan for pay yourself back, that revaluation wouldn't really matter. But if you're wanting to use Aeroplan to book partners, then it would matter. Well done, sir. All right, let's continue with my rampant speculation. I have 7 total possibilities that I've thought of. Hey, we hit 80 people. Keep hitting thumbs up. Thank you. 7 total possibilities, and I've already listed 5. So next is possibility number 6. The 4% goes away entirely. Now it's 2.5 or 3% tops or something along those lines. Whoop, that was it. That was the whole possibility. So I think this one's realistic too. Instead of capping out at 4%, it caps out at 2.5 or 3%. something along those lines. We know like the is it the Alliance Federal Credit Union caps out at 2.5%, Robinhood caps out at 3%. So there are competitors that have done that kind of thing and made it work. And then finally, possibility number 7, the 4% only applies to certain purchases. I think this is one of the less likely ones, but let's just dream a little here. Oop, I went too fast. For example, 2.5, or 3% is your base, depending on those same tiers of how much you have on file. But you get up to 4% on mobile wallet. We know they like mobile wallet. It's on that Power card. It's on the USB-AR, of course. It's on their Kroger type cards. Or maybe up to 4% on dining, because you can't, someone's going to come up with an example. You can't really manufacture spend dining. And if they keep enforcing it's not for business purchases, even if a wealthy individual takes their family out to eat twice every week, it's not going to add up to nearly as much as things like paying property taxes and those kind of things. Or maybe 4% on travel. They already give you like 5x on travel in their portal. Maybe they would make it kind of like the Altitude Reserve will give you 5x or 10x on travel in their portal, but any travel gets you 3x. Maybe the Smartly card would give you 4% cash back on travel. Or maybe all 3 of these, or 2 out of the 3, or some other category that I'm not thinking of, like utility payments or something like that. I mean, they make it work with their Cash Plus card, which is another card. I'm surprised that's not been nerfed, because all of us, people in our community, will pick your 2 categories. Like I always pick on my Cash Plus card, utilities and gyms or workout facilities, and I only use it for that. But there must be enough people out there using it for 1% on other stuff to make it worthwhile to them. Catching up on comments here, then I have a little bit of fun to wrap up this part of the presentation. Yuri says, I'm mostly using Aeroplan to book partners. I recently spent all my Aeroplan points to book LH first class. Is LH Lufthansa? It must be. Awesome. Saying good morning to each other. Yuri says, US Bank has 4% on dining and travel on other cards. Well, I don't know that they would think like, well, we don't want to duplicate other cards, because I think there's a lot of people out there outside of our community who just want one do-it-all card. But that's worth pointing out, certainly. Thank you. Anna says, I'm contemplating using my points to take a red-eye flight in JetBlue Mint. Anyone have any thoughts? I've never used JetBlue at all, so I'm not able to help with that. I apologize. But if somebody else can speak up and help Anna, that would be awesome. All right, so let's wrap up this part of the presentation here with just a little bit of lightheartedness. Or no, first I have to say what I think is going to happen. So this is what I think is the most likely possibility. I think the 4% will still be offered. I think they're going to do exactly what that rumor says. They're going to shut it down for roughly 4 weeks and then reopen it, and it'll still have 4%, but I think self-directed brokerage accounts won't count anymore. So you're going to have to do wealth management, saving, CDs, checking, that kind of stuff. And I think both of these things will apply. The 4% will be capped on your first $100,000 per year, and it'll be 2% thereafter, or maybe 3% thereafter, something like that. This is just pure speculation from me. But the reason I think this is because that first bullet point, well, second overall, I think they want, what they were hoping to attract was people who want to do wealth management. Your typical 67-year-old guy who worked for a utility company for his entire career, has a nice, $1.5 million nest egg and a pension, and, doesn't know anything about finances and just wants them to come in and meet Jacob, their wealth management expert, and shake hands and basically bring his entire relationship over. That's what they wanted. They didn't want people like Stan the Credit Frog who are going to drop in exactly $100,000 into a self-directed brokerage account and never do any other business with them. So I think by saying self-directed brokerage accounts don't count, you're more likely to get the kind of people that you're willing to take a loss on. And then capping the 4% on 100,000 per year, because let's be honest, most normal people don't run anywhere close to 100,000 through credit cards every year. I mean, I know in our community we'll do things like prepay utilities, We'll even pay property taxes and pay a 2% fee to get welcome offers or come out ahead. Most people don't do that. They just do EFT or ACHs for that kind of stuff. So this 100,000 cap would avoid the hogs who want to buy a bunch of gold bullion and pay their business taxes and those kind of things. So that's what I think will probably happen. You're going to get new requirements for getting it, and you're going to have a cap probably. Carlos talks about JetBlue Mint to answer Anna's question. QCMS said, I'd guess so too, Doug. Probably lots of folks like my dad who uses custom cash on multiple categories. Yeah, I've told the story before about my brother-in-law, who's a great guy. We were out having, I think it was my wife's grandma's like 90th birthday party, and we all went out to eat afterwards, and everybody paid their bills by families. And we both got out, I think, Chase Freedom or Chase Freedom Flex cards. And I kind of like, oh, hey, you got the Freedom card. That's awesome. I hear it's dining this quarter or something like that. And he said, yeah, I did activate this time. Last quarter, it was grocery, but I forgot to activate it. and he's just like, it's no big deal. If I only get 1%, that's fine. And he acknowledged that he used his Freedom card for lots of different things. And when he got in his mind, it was like, I'm going to get 1% cash back on everything. And if I get 5% here and there, it's just kind of a bonus. So that's the kind of customer they love with those categories. Chad says, personally, I don't get why it's a Visa signature if you're going after whales. That FTF on there makes me want to avoid the card. Foreign transaction fees. Yeah. It should be probably a Visa Infinite, but apparently it's because they want to give some people $500 credit limits, and I think you have to have at least a $10,000 credit limit for it to be an Infinite. I also love the US bar being an Infinite card. Happy Tom says, I was worried that point devaluations would drive me to cash back cards like Smartly, but maybe I have that backwards. Yeah, I thought about adding a segment to my presentation of alternatives. I just didn't get around to it because I was too tired to finish up last night. Hey, 85 people on board. Click thumbs up. Let's see if we can get over 90. I still think the Venture X is a great card. 2 Capital One miles everywhere. If you value that at 2 cents per point, there's your 4%. Maybe you don't. Maybe you only value it at 1.5, but it's still good enough for me. Now, if I was someone who was like a small business owner paying lots of property taxes, I would probably feel different. Chris Sevi says, JetBlue is great. The customer service is top-notch. Staff is friendly. Credit cards are unfortunately not as good as they used to be, but Mint is highly reviewed. QC says, Visa Signature can be no foreign transaction fee. The PNC 2% card comes to mind, and the CSP, Chase Sapphire Preferred, come to mind. So there's really no excuse for US Bank. All right, now I think we're ready for the Levity portion of the presentation. Oh, not quite. I made this comment on Matt Clausen's video. He did a video called Smartly Smothered, US Bank Reportedly Discontinuing. Go check out his video. And I said, I think we figured out where the max cash back on everywhere card is. 2%, everything's good. 3%, you got to have some strings attached, like the Robinhood card and opening a Robinhood account. 4%, the bank is broken. And I got 6 likes, so that's pretty good. And I think that's true. I think we have found out that if you're a bank and you offer 4% everywhere, it's going to be a broken card. Hey, look, Ian dropped $1.99. And he said 1,300 divided by 2 plus 900 divided by 3 minus 255 equal player 2's new card. I'm sure the math checks out, although I'm not sure. I'm not sure what some of those things represent there. I might need an interpreter for that one. Hey, that's really cool, Ian. Thank you. Celebrate. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yuri doesn't really like the Venture X since they changed to a portal coupon. I hear you. I also have the Signify Business from Wells Fargo, and I debate between those two, the Venture X and that one, for what my 2X Everywhere card is. But to be honest with you guys, I don't use Everywhere else very much. I might need to use it to pay my bill with the Iowa Clinic, who doesn't take Amex. But most of my spending, I can find something else. Jay Carlos agrees I don't do portals, and Chad Pinkoff sings Venture X was a solid catch-all. Did you say was because it's not anymore, or you meant in a general sense? All right, let's get to the fun part here. So, I'm a fan of Simpsons, and if you have been around for a while, you watch classic 90s Simpsons, you know what this is going to be about. So, in this video, Nelson is going to be US Bank, and the people along the side of the road are all of us laughing at his misfortune. So, yeah, US Bank is just getting crapped on all over the internet right now about how dumb their decisions were. You may have even noticed that the thumbnail of my video was two girls pointing and laughing at US Bank. So, hope you enjoyed that levity there. We are done with the theme of the day. I am going to take the standard biology break, and then we will come back and do our community tab questions. So that means I'm going to disappear for an intermission. It'll take at least 90 seconds, maybe around 2 minutes. If you get a video, an advertisement, please just watch it. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike for showing that Simpsons video. Just watch the video because I'm not going to be here anyway, and that'll get me a little more revenue. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's that bank that gives people $500 credit limits. Let's all laugh at him. Wave to the people. Blow them kisses. That's one of my favorite 2-minute segments ever in The Simpsons. All right, where were we? I got to catch up on comments here. Chad says smartly at 4x is greater than the Venture X at 2x. Not going to argue with you there. Yuri says, I have a 3.33 cash back on everything with no annual fee and no foreign transaction fee. Well, by all means, share. What's your secret? Vincent says the Citi double cash might work for your catch-all, especially if you value choice at 1 to 2. Well, if you know the history of my relationship with Citi, the first credit card I was ever denied for, other than just taking a gamble on 524 and hoping it would work, was the city double cash. So City and I have a complicated relationship. QC Man said, maybe you covered in your data points, I missed it, but the Freedom Flex categories on Amazon is select streaming next month. I did not. Thank you for the update. In fact, I didn't even know that. Hopefully there's a mystery category as well, like PayPal for the Freedom Unlimited, for Freedom Flex as well. Yeah, I was bummed. Our family doesn't have a Freedom Unlimited. We did at one point. My wife had one, but I got rid of it because I have the business. We both have a business unlimited, so it seemed redundant. So slightly regret that part. Yuri says Amex Blue Business Plus would catch all if you don't have a 3% card, unless you go to pay the Iowa Clinic or the Salvation Army in my town and they don't take Amex. Good point, though. I do like the Blue Business Plus. That's a good card. Anna says, I just got a Blue Business Plus, but they give me a pretty low credit limit to start off with. If you have any other business credit cards, not charge cards, but business credit cards from Amex, they will let you move your credit limit around right online. Hey, Bart, your epidermis is showing. That's when he falls out of the treehouse and breaks his arm, isn't it? Don Kim, thank you. U.S. Bank should have made it a 3% card. I agree. And just for the record, I like U.S. Bank. They've treated me very well. I mean, they gave me a 10,000 point retention offer on my altitude reserve. So you can mock a friend, even though I'm mocking them. I still like them. But yeah, whoever the marketing geniuses were that offered a 4% unlimited cashback card with no annual fee apparently need to take a course in human behavior. QCM says, yeah, but US Bank wasn't a bully to begin with, though. That's true. We're still making fun of them, though. David Williams did the math back on Ian's comment. All of this math corresponds with a $6.95 annual fee. Yeah, okay. I gotcha. So it must have been a platinum then, either business or personal, one of the two. Yuri says, I just recently got Amex Business Platinum and received a 250,000 point bonus on it. Awesome, Yuri G. My wife had the same thing a little bit earlier. Happy Tom says, are those KLM houses in the background? They sure are. Yeah. Second shelf down underneath the globe and the books right in front of the plant. So I've only flown KLM once ever, but it was transatlantic business to get to Europe back in 2023. 4 of us, so we got 4 houses. And then I commented to the stewardess how much I liked them. So she, on the way out, like as we were about to leave, she had a bag, and I didn't know what was in the bag. It was like a paper bag and some like tissue around something. And she just reached into my carry-on bag or my backpack and just shoved it in there, said, here's a little something extra for you. Shh. And then when I got into the airport terminal, opened it, it was 2 more of the KLM houses. So now I have 6 of them. Let's see. Carlos says, I heard that for JetBlue Mint, you could book a rectangular seat. Oops, reading comprehension. I heard that you could book a regular seat, and 3 hours prior to boarding at the airport, you could ask to pay for an upgrade to Mint if there are seats available. And it would be cheaper than buying Mint straight up. Yuri says, yes, it's a grandfathered Priceline card. That's the 3.33 one, which I got in 2012. Can you use it as true cash back, or do you have to use it on Priceline? Ian acknowledged that David did figure out the math there. Awesome. Carlos says, I may try to do the Mint upgrade to Costa Rica next year. Yuri says, AOD, Federal Credit Union Visa Signature, also gives 3% with no annual fee and no foreign transaction fee up to $1,500 of spend per cycle. Not bad. David Williams says, Homer's S, portrait of an ass grabber. My favorite symbols. I don't know why, but I was just thinking about that yesterday. Actually, I do know why. When I was trying to find the very tall man in a small car clip, at the end there was a avatar or like a preview of a different video, and I didn't watch it, but it had, I think it was that one or one that was similar. So then I remembered, is it the same episode where he goes to the candy convention and takes pop rocks and pop, shakes them together, and it blows up and helps him escape. And then he wants the candy Venus de Milo, but his babysitter sits on it. So they do like a Inside Edition type thing where it's like, here's actual footage of Homer Simpson talking. And he's like, all I wanted was the sweet can. And they're like editing it very obviously. Yes. Classic Simpsons is great. Yes, true cashback in the form of a travel eraser. Oh, okay, cool. Let's see. All right, we're ready for our community tab here. So every Friday, I post a picture, and along with the picture, you can ask me anything. I forgot to upload the picture, so I'm gonna have to find my tab here. If you'll bear with me just a moment, I got to go to my own channel. I got to go over to posts, and here it is right here. Okay, so there's the picture. Sorry, I can't make it bigger at this time. It's me standing in front of something down here that's made of like stone or cement or something like that. There's some writing on it, which I censored out because that would give it away. Some stained glass type windows in the background. So you're supposed to guess where that picture was taken, but you can also ask me anything. So let's just take a quick look here, get over to my community tab, and we'll see what the questions were. All right, so Yuri SBU guessed it was at the National Cathedral, and he's right, but I said, can you be more specific? And the person who got it exactly right was channel member and supporter Ron Byrne. Good job, Ron. Said that is Woodrow Wilson's grave at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. And that's exactly right. Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner. Ron, you get 10,000 Dugroz points. Congratulations. He also says, my favorite item there is the moon rock in one of the stained glass windows. Yeah, in one of the stained glass windows, there's a center panel with like a little circle, and they've embedded a rock from the moon into it. Because, you know, we're America, the only country that's been on the moon. Take that, everybody else. So, yes, that is Woodrow Wilson's grave. He's actually buried in the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., like right there, like in like this little low wall kind of thing. They actually have his corpse in there, and his wife is buried in the basement, which I think is, I don't know if that's funny, insulting, or what. I'm not sure. But yes, that is where Woodrow Wilson, former president, is buried. Originally, the person who designed the National Cathedral thought it would be like a mausoleum for famous people buried all the way around the edges, and they offered it to other former presidents, but he's the only one that ever actually took them up on the offer. Anna K gifted 1 Dugroz Report membership. Celebrate. Thank you, Anna. That's just as good as a $3 super chat. I appreciate that. Ian says, I think I've got over 100,000 Dugroz points. What's the Riesel redemption value on them? Go to Frequent Miler and check it out. Maybe they can help you figure it out. All right, so I'm going to go through the community tab questions. There aren't very many. Scott S says, since we are speculating, do you think that Hilton / Amex has effectively shut down the Surpass / Business Platinum $50 Hilton credit gift card hack? Great question. And Ron mentioned that he was able to load it into Apple Pay on his phone. It seems to only work if you have Apple Pay. It doesn't work for Androids for whatever reason. But you can upload your gift card into that. I tried it once just because I was morbidly curious. Is there a chance this is just a regular gift card and I can use it anywhere? In fact, I've got it right here. I'll just cover my account number. And that's kind of what it looks like. It's just a regular American Express gift card. So I tried to check out with it at the grocery store and it didn't work. So somehow it's just a normal Amex gift card, but it's hard-coded to only work at Hilton's somehow. So those of you who aren't sure what I'm referencing, so starting in, I think it was like the first or second week in January, you used to be able to buy gift cards from a website called buyhiltongiftcards.com, and it would trigger the credit through Amex. Like the Hilton Surpass card, for example, you can do $50 a quarter. Well, like this quarter, I'm not staying at a Hilton, so I would buy a Hilton gift card, and that would trigger the $50 credit, and then they would mail it to me. Likewise, the Business Platinum added the same thing in fourth quarter of last year. And I was going to see how many gift cards I have. I think I've got like 4 of those $50 gift cards I need to figure out a way to use. Anyway, when the business platinum added, I think a truckload of people found out about it, signed up for their business account, got the credit, and then crashed the buyhiltongiftcards.com website where they said something like, I'm sorry, we're out of gift cards right now. Let me actually go there right now and see if it still says it. Buyhiltongiftcards.com. That's actually the name of the website. It tells you all the things you can do it, and it says you can redeem it when dining one of our on-property restaurants. So that guy down in New Orleans, there's a gift card for business, gift cards for consumers. Buy Hilton gift cards. Place order. There's none to choose. Oh, yep, right up here. Due to an unforeseen inventory shortage, Hilton gift card sales are temporarily suspended. Hilton is expecting new inventory soon. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. But that message has been up there since like the first week of January or something like that. So Hilton and American Express work together, so they have to be aware that people are doing this. I do think it's kind of a crappy way to shut them down because although I realize it's not most people, can you imagine if somebody actually wanted to buy a gift for someone? Or as I think Nick from Frequent Miler said, can you imagine how crappy it would be if I actually gave someone a Hilton gift card as a gift? Because like they would never be able to use it because you go to most Hiltons and half the staff doesn't know how to run them or it doesn't work. You don't know all the tricks. Like I've heard, don't tell them you're using a gift card. Just say, I want to put $50 on a credit card. Don't even show it to them. Just swipe it through the little reader there. I did have success using one time at a Hampton Inn in Alton, Illinois. That's my only time I've been able to use it successfully. So I'm hoping we're staying at 2 different Hiltons this summer, one in the United Kingdom and one in Austria. And I'm hoping at least one of them takes it. Like Ron said earlier, there's a tip that if you have Apple Pay, you can load it onto your phone's mobile wallet and just do tap to pay. And it seems to work better that way. I don't know why, but that's what people say. So I don't know that they're shutting it down, but they are going to make it harder. And when they bring back this, who knows, maybe it won't trigger the credit anymore. So I'll just be honest. I don't know if they're shutting it down or not. It wouldn't surprise me either way, but it's good to be aware of. I don't have any plans to stay at a Hilton this quarter. So if I'm not able to use it by March 31st, I'm going to be a little bummed. I think there's only one Hilton in the entire Des Moines area that has a restaurant inside. So I would have to go there and just hope that the restaurant takes it. I take it back. I did use a gift card a second time at a Hilton restaurant in Springfield, Illinois. So I have been able to drain 2 of them. I think what helped with that one was it wasn't going to be the whole value of the $50 gift card all at once. It was only like a $25 total. And then the second time I asked them to run it for just the tip or something like that. I don't remember how it worked, but I was able to use one. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. I closed it and I didn't mean to. Next community tab question. Bengals fan 4300's and Bengals fan 4300's avatar looks exactly like Mike, the Bengals fan who was or is here on the chat. You still on board? Bengals fan 4300 said, "What's a great USAA card for travel and why?" And I responded, I don't know. Gronk and I can't get them. Unfortunately, I'm not in the military, and sadly, I don't have any family members within one generation who are military members or veterans. So I'm not able to do USAA. My great uncle was a vice admiral in the Navy back in like the time frame leading up to the Vietnam War. Would that qualify me? Probably not. USAA. Let's just look right now and see, or people can put in the comments, like, what's a great USAA credit card for travel and why? Share this tab instead. 1% cash back 1.5% doesn't sound that exciting. The Navigator Visa Signature Card gives you 3x points on travel and transit, including air, hotel, card, vacation rentals, ride shares, and more, and 2x on all other purchases. It's nice to have the 2x built in. You got your TSA pre-check. You got your annual 10,000 bonus points equal to $100 in travel after booking hotel or car through the USAA Award Center. That sounds pretty good. Is there an annual fee? There's got to be an annual fee. Yeah. $95 annual fee, no foreign transaction fee. That's a pretty good do everything card. I'm assuming a point is worth a penny, maybe a little more when using the portal, something like that. So that one sounds pretty good. The Eagle Navigator. The Rewards American Express card is 3x on dining, grocery, gas. That's pretty good, but it's not travel. That sign-up bonus is pretty low, though. A Visa Signature card, dining, gas, and other purchases. I wonder why this one's crappier than that one. They look exactly the same, except it's just less good. This one's an American Express, this one's a Visa. Cashback Rewards Plus, 5% cash back on your first $3,000 in combined gas station and military base purchase, 2% on your grocery purchase, capped. Meh. So yeah, if you're thinking travel, I would probably do this one right here, the Eagle Navigator. That sounds pretty good, pretty reasonable. You know, you get a $100 coupon every year and you pay $95, so it pretty much nets out. Not like super exciting for me, but that's right. Let's see. Jay Carlos says, I got my Amex Gold sub yesterday, 100,000 points, my first charge card. Awesome. QC Man says, still unavailable. That's referencing the gift cards from Hilton, I imagine. Ian says, I reached out to Frequent Miler about the reasonable redemption value of your points. I'll let you know what they say. Great. Awesome. Thanks, Ian. Don Kim said, I used to give Player 2 spa gift cards at local Conrad Spa. Never had issues. Awesome. Manuel says the USAA signature card. Which one is signature? Did I miss it? It's probably this one. Eagle Navigator signature. Well, no, here's a Visa signature. Doesn't have anything for travel there, and it doesn't say no foreign transaction fees. So I think the Eagle one would be better for traveling abroad, certainly. Cognito ergo sum. Hey, I don't think we've met before, Cognito. Good to see you. Thinks the Eagle Navigator would be best here. Chris Sevi says the Eagle Navigator is good. No primary CDW and no transfer partners. Annual fee seems easy to redeem. Manuel agrees. Do you have to be military or family of military to get USAA credit cards? I know you have to for checking and insurance and that kind of stuff. I'm not sure about the credit cards. Is there like a donate to some military adjacent charity or something like that? All right, next comment here. Matt Clausen said, I want to say this is National Archives or National Gallery. You're in the right city. And then goes on to ask, as for the speculation, do you think there's going to be a monthly cap on the Smartly? We already pretty much went over that, but I'll just go back and review here. My official prediction, although it's just a wild guess, is I do think there'll be a cap. I think it'll be capped at 100,000 per year. It wouldn't surprise me if they broke that out into 25,000 per quarter. But again, that's just rampant speculation. Thank you, Matt. And let's see, are there any other questions here on the community tab? We're getting pretty close to the time to be done. It's 11:15 Central Time. I usually try to finish by 11:30, although I've ran over a few times. So put comments over there in the comment section if you are wanting to have me address your comment, because we're getting close to the end. It's almost going to be really close to the last time to drop a super chat or super sticker here. Cognito ergo sum says, yes, you have to be military or certain family to get any USAA card. Good to know. That's what I thought, but it confirms my suspicion. He says, too bad they don't give any cards to IDF vets. I'm not sure what IDF references. I apologize. International Defense Fund? That may not be quite right. Chris Sevi says, USA banking is open to everyone. Insurance requires military or family. That's my understanding. We have conflicting data points here. Let's just do a real quick, I'll simulate an application and we'll see what happens here. Take this comment down. All right, apply now. Let's see if it asks me right away. Become a member by selecting join. So you have to become a member before you can apply. Join to apply for any card. Determine if you're eligible. USAA membership is open to active duty, National Guard reserves, veterans who served honorably, cadets, midshipmen, employees of certain federal agencies, as well as spouses or children of USAA members. Ooh, okay. So it does sound like to get a credit card, you have to be a member. And to be a member, you either have to be military or related to one or an employee of certain federal agencies. So I wonder if you worked as like a civilian employee of the Department of Defense, maybe that would count. But sounds like that confirms what cognito ergo sum said. That's why Gronk was so upset, because he wanted to be able to get one and he just can't. Yuri, we all know that you Mossad, not IDF. That's why I frequently worry about Matt Clausen's life. I don't know what any of that means. I apologize. Oh, Israeli Defense Force, I presume. That is correct. Okay, I got it. So, not to single out Israel, but just like if you're a member of the military of one of the countries that is allied with the United States, should you be allowed to get into USAA? I don't really have a strong opinion on that one way or the other. Let's see. Yuri G says, my name is Bond, James Bond. Yeah, if you're a secret undercover agent, do you qualify for USAA? The only time in my entire life that I've had a bounty hunter come after me, like a recruiter, job recruiter, was someone who wanted me to work for USAA. And this was 15 to 20 years ago, before work from home was pretty common. So he was trying to convince me to move to Texas. I think it's San Antonio is where their headquarters is, and work in their call center because I had call center experience. And he talked about how they have such a big building and a gift shop and a cafeteria and game rooms and how fun it would be to work for USAA. And I don't think this guy really realized that I kind of wanted to get away from the big corporate office environment. So that was kind of funny. All right. Well, if you want to have one last chance, we'll end it here. I will review those who helped me out. We have Tom Graber coming in with $5 super chat. Xavier dropped $9.99. John dropped $2. Chad Pennycuff dropped a solid $20. Ian dropped $1.99. Philmo dropped $2. QC Man gifted a membership worth $3. Xavier celebrated his 7-month anniversary as a channel member. Happy Tom donated $16.25. TM Cowling became a new member, also worth $3. Ian then dropped his second chat of the day for another $1.99, and Anna gifted a membership worth $3. I appreciate all of you who had done that. QCMS said, if you had done that, you'd be able to get the Eagle Navigator, Doug. If I had been a secret undercover agent. Yeah, I will neither confirm or deny that my past job was as a secret undercover agent. Oh, and then at the last second, QC Man drops $1.99. Thank you so much, QC Man. I really appreciate that. And that was in addition to gifting a membership. Thank you so much for your patronage. And we'll end her there. Thank you, everyone. As always, may your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous. Thanks for watching.